I have a weird feeling that it might be Grey's Anatomy.
I don't actually know your name.
I'm Jesus. I did not expect that.
And there's a baptismal pool behind the curtain for any converts.
I just wish she didn't use religion to hurt so many people.
Maybe I'll die and go to hell. Maybe they're right.
She literally almost jumped off a cliff, and that was like my position.
I've never seen Jesus seem so cool.
That conversation was so radical.
Deep.
That scene right there gave me chills down my spine.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you? Can you see me?
I can't.
Here we go. Hi.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Adrian. How are you, mate?
So happy it's Friday. It's been a week.
So let me break down a bit more information about this project because you know probably basically nothing about the project because we haven't shared anything.
I guess you can't tell me what the show is yet. I would have to wait. Okay.
I can't tell you the name of the studio. I can't tell you the name of the show. We are a global phenomenon television show. We're in every country in the world, but we didn't expect it to perform so well in the Gen Z audience. And we're like, that's amazing, but we haven't really been able to crack the code as to why. So we're like, okay, great. Let's do a case study, a blind case study. We bring 10 Gen Zers who are just truly being themselves, and we ask them to binge the show. We don't care if you hate it or if you love it or if you're like, man, it's okay, but it sucks here, here, and here. You guys just talk peer to peer. Like, we're out of the equation. We just want you guys to really unpack it for us intellectually, emotionally, psychologically. And we can just watch people who have never experienced our content before experience it for the first time. Like, we want to take the journey. Any questions about that?
Utah time.
Gotta start the day with a water chug.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Nowak.
My name is Emma Russell.
Josephine.
I'm Jordan.
Adrian Jackson Gilbert.
Audrey.
Imani.
Chris.
I often go by Stevie. I've begun the packing.
I am from Jakarta, Indonesia.
There it is. We're ready for today.
I'm originally from Wisconsin.
Bye, bye.
A village called Cassopolis.
Worcester,
I'm originally from
Massachusetts.
Taiwan, in Ohio.
San Francisco,
I'm
California.
from Jersey and Georgia.
But I currently live in
Live
Brooklyn,
in
New York.
I just moved there 3 weeks ago, actually.
I'm in the streets of New York.
My sister just dropped me off at the airport on our way to Utah.
I have no clue where I'm going. I'm a little nervous.
We've basically been asked to meet a group of strangers.
Binge a series.
Don't really know what to expect.
We don't know what the TV show is.
We are going to want to know our thoughts on the series and
Just focusing on Gen Z. It's all been kind of secretive. My biggest anxiety is that I'm gonna get there and this whole thing's gonna be an elaborate plan to get me to convert to Mormonism.
A fun fact about me is that even though I'm from Wisconsin, I don't like cheese. Went skydiving for the first time on a whim about a week ago. Didn't want to leave this earth whenever I do and not jump out of a plane.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts?
Out here in
Nice.
Utah. It's actually my first time on a plane and everything. So
Really?
I swear, when we were lifting off, I felt like I came out of my seat a little bit. You know?
I was actually raised on a farm, adopted with my little brother and my little sister. So it's a blessing right there to be raised with them and really get to know them my entire life. And we're still very close now.
I gotta leave the cult thing for later. I have 6 siblings.
I have daily dance parties in my room.
I just love people. I love communicating.
Love talking to people and just kind of getting to know their stories. That's a little bit about me.
Finally. Oh, my God.
Ooh, set the mood. Set the mood.
I think we are going to binge Ted Lasso today.
I kind of have a feeling that it might be some anime.
I gotta stop guessing VeggieTales.
I have a weird feeling that it might be Grey's Anatomy.
I know that it has a lot of impact on a lot of people all over the world.
The Paris Hilton cooking show?
Like I said, you know, I did grow up in a cult, but VeggieTales was like a staple of my childhood. And honestly, like I don't know if I really think it's VeggieTales. I just thought it would be really funny if it was. I would sing along with silly songs with Larry.
Something in the genre of drama.
A drama, I hope?
It's probably a drama.
That's what I think it is.
Let me tell you a story.
You think that impossible things can happen?
Miracles.
I'm so sorry, I don't actually know your name.
I'm Jesus.
I feel nervous, honestly.
It was incredible.
I need to know if we have a problem.
VeggieTales might have been more fun, but...
The man claimed to be God. False prophecy.
I don't know if it's something that's going to trigger me or make me feel hurt.
The so-called miracle worker?
Jesus of Nazareth.
Apparently something good can come from Nazareth.
That's not for you.
I was one way, and now I am completely different. And the thing that happened in between was him.
And so it's time. Let's go. I did not expect that.
You knew it?
I had a feeling this
was gonna be that.
Really?
Do you know what the name of it?
It's Jesus, isn't it?
Jesus the musical? Everybody's been talking about
The musical?
I didn't expect that.
Me too.
Yeah, I think I've seen the trailer.
That's not what I expected.
I haven't seen the show, but...
So what are y'all's first thoughts?
I've never seen Jesus seem so cool.
He looks like a stud.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus is kind of cute.
You need to close your eyes for a couple of scenes. Don't take your shirt off, Jesus.
That one shot where it was just like Jesus and the boys just walking. The squad. Just the squad just pulled up.
My religion has kind of gone down as I get older.
For sure.
You know, like my belief is still there, but I don't go to church as much as I used to. I was born into a Catholic church, like very religious. And so I think this will be really interesting.
I feel like I'm more spiritual than religious. I feel like I had a really, Ben and I were talking about this, just a traumatic experience with the church. And so I'm like, I hope this is, I mean, it seems cool, but I feel like very wary about entering into that domain again.
It seems joyful, though. It seems joyful, you know, but it could get dark.
I mean, the man had a brutal death, so you know it's gonna get dark.
With all the different like portrayals and like different like teachings and stuff of like like Christianity and religion and like different like versions of Jesus, I guess, that I've just like seen throughout my life. I'm just curious to like see how this one is.
Your perspective is going to be very interesting, like very, very, very interesting.
And there's a baptismal pool behind the curtain for any converts.
So, have I watched Christian content? No.
I think I'm always a little wary of Christian media.
I'd say the majority of like Christian faith-based stuff tends to be cheesy.
And it seems like they don't put a lot of effort.
It's very white.
It's been more preachy.
Force-feeding them a religion.
From what I've seen, it's like, oh, well, this needs to affirm what I already believe. I'm not looking for something that is challenging.
I didn't want to watch that content because me growing up, I was an atheist.
If I see or come across a Christian movie, I'll just turn it off because I don't want to be like spoon-fed propaganda, to be honest, and I just can't relate to it at all.
I don't like have anything against it. Like I think Jesus Christ Superstar is like a pretty good like Broadway musical. I was born in Charleston, South Carolina, a month after my parents joined a new church. And that ended up being my cult.
We were poor. We lived in Newark, New Jersey, in the hood.
When I was 13, I saw my dad pass away right in the living room of our house. Why can't you sleep?
I'm scared.
I experienced a lot of stress and anxiety about not fitting in.
What do we do when we are scared?
We say the words, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine."
You are mine. That's right.
Demons live inside her.
I go to church maybe once a year. You know, I'm not deeply into the faith. I'm not deeply educated.
My name is Quintus. I'm the praetor of Capernaum.
And I am...
You're the great Nicodemus.
I was raised Catholic, and I still am. I actually have a necklace of the Sacred Heart.
I miss it. Honestly, in a lot of conversations with friends, I'll mention random Bible stories, or I'll be like, I'm being such a Martha right now. I just want to be more of a Mary. And people will be like, what?
You help me. I will help the Pharisees continue to thrive.
Me growing up, I didn't really believe in God like that. I really didn't want to believe in God like that because I felt like, you know, my skin color alone was already different.
Not you. It's me that don't want to be seen with you, tax man.
Christian content and Christian people in general, you know, not all of them, but some of them are very, very religious and like, you know, earrings like this, like a guy wearing earrings like this, you know, would a guy be wearing earrings like this? I don't know. I like them.
Why are our Jewish brethren taking their boats to sea on Shabbat?
Some of those early Nicodemus scenes, I just like was getting crisp flashbacks to cult moments.
I'm here about a Hebrew woman in the Red Quarter.
Around 10 years old, my mom started going to church really often. I just remember the pastor always saying, like, if you come up and get prayed for, you'll get a house, you'll get a new car. And to me, it just felt so manipulative, and I just could not get jiggy with it.
Seriously, I can only take maybe two. One more punch. He says he's had it!
Your account is therefore delinquent by 40 days. As collateral, you've listed a fishing vessel.
What my brother didn't mention was our arrangement with Quintus. Don't speak, just walk. They don't get the tax because we don't report any Shabbat catches. So I tell them, if he took me straight to Quintus, I'd let them know who caught more in one night than the guy they're arresting catches in a week. You offer to turn in fishermen. No, not fishermen, merchants.
I come from Indonesia. Hello, nama saya Audrey, which is like, hello, my name is Audrey. Coming to the States for the first time, I was like, wow, this is like incredibly new. And it was really difficult.
Spawn of Beelzebub, better than Sheol.
We are not afraid of you. You have no power here, teacher.
And when I was 15, my biological dad was murdered. Life kept trying to just throw me down like this well.
By the time I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I was having pretty severe mental health issues. I was having suicidal ideation and depression and anxiety. I didn't want to go to school most days.
I saw my dad take his last breath as he looked at me. And that kind of really changed things in my life. I've struggled a lot with mental health issues, teetering on the brink of thinking, what is the point of life? Why am I even still here? Do I even want to still be here?
Yesterday, November 15th, was actually like one of the hardest days of my life, like 5 years ago. I think I had such a struggle with religion because I thought, or I believed, that I do have to do good things first or be good, and then like I'm safe and then I'm loved. I just was continuously serving people up to an extent where I just could not serve anymore, but I kept on going because I thought that God wanted me to do it. So I called 2 suicide hotlines and I was like, I think I'm gonna attempt tonight. And somehow their answers were just for me, unsatisfactory. Like, they were just, like, curt and short, which is not what a suicide hotline is supposed to be. And then I texted this, like, the national text thing, and I told her about it, and as I was going to do that, the national text hotline basically disconnected because I didn't see my phone for like 5 minutes. She thought that I attempted, and then she like sent the cops to my dorm. And so I like hear these cops knocking my dorm. They were like, what is she doing inside? And I was like, oh, shoot, like now I can't.
I'm sorry, Lilith.
Give me that, please. I said leave me.
That's not for you.
Don't touch me. Leave me alone.
Mary. Mary of Magdala.
How do you know my name?
Thus says the Lord who created you. I have called you by name. You are mine.
All right.
Wow. That was intense.
That was so good. I like the Game of Thrones medieval vibe. Yeah. I think that makes it interesting.
The way Jesus entered, unreal.
I mean,
like, just.
Was he gonna do less?
That was, and they wrapped it around to her father.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really like how it felt relevant, like the mental health issues that she was going through, like, or what could be seen as mental health issues today, and just so many people giving up on her, and that's why it really struck home for her, because someone cared enough to say, like, I see you, you know, instead of like the problems that she was going through.
I deal with mental health issues being somebody who's bipolar, which back in the day, they used to think bipolar people were possessed. But the thing is, I thought it was really interesting when he comes in, he puts his hands on her head as if he's healing her brain.
See, I'm liking the side that they're showing that, you know, the rich side of things and the poor side of things. And you can really, like, you know, really feel for both sides and see where they're coming from in that sense. Like,
I feel bad for the tax man.
the tax
Everybody
man,
hates him.
he's nervous.
I don't feel bad
he don't
for
want to
him.
go nowhere.
I mean, that's
Signed up for
relevant.
that job. He could quit any day.
Yeah.
He don't
but
want to
likes
go
his money.
nowhere. But then you saw the kind of style where, you know, he stepped in the dung and then he threw him away real quick. Like, he didn't care. Like, he, you know, and that's kind of crazy to me.
I think it was Saul, the guy the fisherman. On one hand, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of a snitch. Like, you sold out your own people just to get by. But then on the other hand, like, you're going to lose everything.
Nobody ever talks about how desperate you can get when you're trying to save yourself or someone you care about.
When you're backed into a corner.
Exactly.
This is my old high school. I was real uncomfortable in my skin because, you know, this town and being raised on a farm, it was kind of a weird narrative. And we didn't have any say in it. You know, we didn't get told, you know, you're getting thrown into foster care and the three of you are going to live with this white lady that you don't even know on a farm. And, you know, stay there. I was kind of like a jokester. I was always making fun of myself to kind of make up for being black. This is my mom's house right here. That's the barn. This is where I grew up. It looks completely different. These were 200, 300 foot tall pine trees. They were like way up there. We had horses in here, we had horses in there.
Growing up, we didn't have a lot of the things that a lot of people in this town had. We had, you know, just the bare minimum. I was a big schemer back then, and I schemed a lot. So things that I just felt like I didn't have or wasn't able to have, and I didn't see myself having, so let's steal it instead. I used to steal a lot of phones, you know, and then take them and jailbreak it and then resell it to somebody else. Headphones, jewelry, you know, I was taking just random stuff, people's clothes, sweatshirts.
Why should I not kill you both?
I do not find Simon reliable.
Are you saying I made a bad deal?
Around for the table.
Buying drinks for the merchants. You fattening your lambs before the slaughter?
Those are brothers. It's my fault that a dumb kid doesn't know better?
I'm an emotional person. I take things to heart. I really relate to what I'm seeing on a screen. And so I think that I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve and I will take on whatever's happening in the show, and that can be upsetting, maybe.
Matthew, another unhappy citizen expressing his disapproval?
I'll be fine.
My favorite kind of scene dynamic in the show is between Matthew and his little Roman bodyguard.
You're disgusting. Go home.
I have a job to do.
I thought it was incredibly endearing to watch these like opposites really come together and find something that they enjoy about each other and almost a protection between each other. I found it very heartwarming.
How can you not have a relationship with your own father?
He says he has no son.
Next.
I lived at that one right there, or the one next to it. Oh my gosh. I remember that I would always come from my mom's house and go to my dad's house and I'd be sick. And a lot of times I'd have lice or I'd be in dirty clothing or similar clothing to the one that they dropped me off in. 424. We had to leave there because there was problems happening there. My mother like brought men in that became problematic, so we had to kind of go every so often. From 5th grade probably to 7th grade, I would go outside almost all day, every day when I wasn't at school. And first off, I loved school because it was such a safe place for me. But at the same time, when I wasn't at school, I would go outside and I'd walk down the street to a local Tim Hortons. I'd walk to Big Lots and I would hang out in Big Lots all the time. And there's Big Lots, yeah, it's still down there. It was a safe spot. There was nobody there I didn't think was gonna hurt me. There was nobody there that was mean to me. You know, they might not have known my home life or what exactly was happening or anything like that, but they kind of were like, I think she needs a friend, or I think something's going on, and I think that they did that.
How long after my visit did you feel the change?
It wasn't anything you did. It was someone else. I was one way. And now I am completely different. And the thing that happened in between was him.
So meant that you were even hosting Shabbat dinner.
I don't understand what's happening.
Just be honest, bro. That's your girl.
You need to work tonight.
You need to work on Shabbat.
And God completed on the 7th day his work that he did. For thereon he abstained from all the work that God created to do. Blessed are you, Lord our God.
You have lovingly and willingly given us
You have lovingly and willingly given us your Shabbat in memory of the exodus from Egypt.
Oh, what?
Cool.
That seemed like a short
I loved
episode.
that episode.
I was surprised. That's why I wasn't expecting it to end.
Yeah, me neither.
Am I the only person who almost teared up in that scene with Mary and Nicodemus?
Oh my gosh, get me started.
Deep.
I was like,
I
Nicodemus,
really
no.
love that part. I really respected him in that scene
Because he wasn't like,
yeah, he was very humble about it.
And to see Nicodemus, this man at such a high level, sit there and question himself, question what's going on around him, question his faith, it's so comforting. I feel like as a viewer,
It's so comforting to see because you're like, oh, somebody like that can question it, so can I.
I love the whole aspect of just bringing in people for, you know, big meals. It kind of brings me back to home. It's like in Alabama, my neighbors are like my family.
It reminded me, personally, my family is in Taiwan. I don't have any close family here. And it reminded me a lot of like Thanksgiving time. When I'm here over the holidays in the US on my own, I get really jealous of everybody getting to go back to their families and, you know, have this big, nice, fancy dinner. And I'm always, some family friend usually takes me in, but it does kind of feel like I'm like nomadic a little. Everybody else had this like scrappy, put together family. Seeing that like what was held so preciously and dearly was like the pieced together Thanksgiving was really cool to me. Yeah, and it was a great thematic episode. It was so intense to be dropped into a group where everyone had such a complex relationship with God and with Christianity. I was really defensive. I was really closed off and skeptical. I was going through a lot at the time with my family, and there were just parts of myself that I feel like I couldn't let go of. I had to be a little defensive to like protect a part of myself. I was sitting there really questioning everything everybody was saying. I felt okay with that because I really felt like it was okay to like save a part of myself for myself and not have to give everything to the people there and to the cameras. It's so hard in the process of finding the truth to be able to share where you are on that journey with anyone, because honestly, sometimes it's embarrassing.
I'll be by the stream.
Do not swim.
I won't.
I was born in Texas. My parents became Christians when we lived in Texas. And then when I was 5, I moved to Taiwan with my family. So that was all the way till I was 18. And then I moved to Berkeley to attend college. Does everyone here have like a religious or Christian upbringing?
I'm non-denominational Christian.
A lot of my childhood was being afraid. I didn't measure up to what my mom wanted me to be.
Can I play with Joshua tomorrow?
Only after you finish your chores.
I know. I will get it all done first.
Don't interrupt.
I'm sorry.
For so much of my childhood, it felt like I was the parent of the family who had to account for what was going to make her upset and then try to find various ways to avoid like her rage.
And where will you go?
Just the field. And there was one tool I've never seen before. I don't know what it's for. I think he was building stuff.
So
cute.
So pretty.
Abigail reminded me so much of my daughter. Like, she just asked so many questions and I try to answer them perfectly and try to give her as much information as I can.
And there was some food too, but even though I was hungry, I didn't take any because that would be wrong. But maybe we could take a little bit this time.
And I love to see all the kids playing. It just took me back like 10 years, 15 years, like just being from a large family. You know, I miss it. It's one of those things where you don't get that time to go outside and run around and, you know, really enjoy it, you know.
Yeah. I didn't see a sword or anything like that, so I don't think it'd kill us. They seem nice.
It's probably like my first vivid memory of the pastor who founded the church was him coming over to us and going, oh, you want to see attitude? I'll take you in the woods outside my house after midnight and show you attitude. And I was like 8 years old. I was like, what did I do? Like, I'm just sitting here. He seems to have it kind of made. I mean, the church makes all his money for him. He's got the nicest car in the church, nicest house. Like, they built an entire house for him at no charge. And it was like a nice house. That was the one he threatened to beat me outside of. I like just developed like a fear for him and like my dad, which I didn't realize until like I started going to therapy like 2 years ago.
And I pray that if there are ever 2 children who come visit my home here, that you will give them the courage to say shalom.
I really liked the scene where Jesus blew raspberries. Just because I think it's hilarious. Jesus blowing raspberries. like, Jesus wouldn't do that. Like, in terms of like the whole message of Jesus, like there's a lot of focus on like, you know, ye must be like children and you have to have faith like a child and stuff like that.
I started getting sick. I had epilepsy, and I went back up to Jersey with my mom to figure out like what the problem was and what the solution actually could be. And it was around this time when we started going back to the church I went to when I was younger in Jersey. Adults in the church and some kids my age who I don't know why, but maybe I was too nice or something. They started like sexually abusing me in the church. I was such a quiet kid, and I thought this was like punishment for like me being bad or like me acting out. So that's kind of what I heard. Like if you were bad, then like Jesus or like God will punish you. And I just remember one experience of one of like the elders in the church walking in one of the church bathrooms and like seeing it happen. And I thought it would like stop after that, and it didn't. And I think I still have a lot of resentment now because I trusted them, and I feel like they took a lot of my innocence and my like childhood away, so that really hurt. And I think that's why I'm like kind of terrified of going back to church, because I felt like no one protected me. And it hurt really badly. One second, please.
These are my other friends, and Joshua again.
Shalom, Abigail's friends. What if many of the things that our people think about how we are to behave and how we are to treat one another are wrong?
I'm getting emotional. Sorry. I don't know. See, I'm sorry. Cry. It's okay. I feel like this made me really emotional because I really want to be a parent. I really try to lead with kindness, and just seeing that, like, I don't know, I got really excited, but also, sorry. Really sad because my mom is not a kind person at all. And I just saw that, and I just wish she didn't use religion to hurt so many people.
It might be this. No, it's the next one. Oh. It's this brown one right here. It's where I lived with him. It's just weird to look at. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it. It's just weird. When I think about this place in particular, I don't feel very happy about it. I can't think of positive memories, really. My mother was gone a lot, and my older sister was, I think the best way to say it, kind of a tormentor. I was scared to be left alone with her. She would tell me she was gonna kill me, and like would like grab knives and bring them into her room to like mess with me and pretend like she was gonna kill me. And I was just a high schooler, and I was scared. So, and because when she would get mad and she would throw me around or like hit me and stuff, I couldn't really stop it. And I believed her because she was so serious in the way that she would hit me and do stuff. It would be so intense that I believed her. So.
Make good on your promises, dog.
My brother and his friend were out breaking into cars and asked me to come by and pick them up, so then I went and picked them up. Next thing you know, they're leaving something in my car that doesn't belong to me, and I'm getting pulled over and I'm getting ripped out of the car and thrown to the ground with a gun to my head.
Ah! I owed taxes. They were set to take the boat, our houses, or give up a fleet fishing on Shabbat.
Thank you for your honesty, Simon. If I may return the favor, I'm shocked you didn't show your face here.
I sort of had to fall away from the church when I was in college and discovered my queerness.
Everyone's telling you that who you are is acceptable and you need to be yourself, and that's like what we value, but in action, like the things that people were saying and kind of presenting to me showed me that I had to change like every part of myself to be accepted.
Follow Simon.
I'm not accepted.
Where?
Anywhere.
It was something for a long time that everyone had told me was a huge sin, and these were dirty, dirty people, and something was wrong with you if you felt this way. I would like be in my bed and like crying out, like, tell me what is the truth, and am I an awful person? And I just couldn't hear God's voice about it. And so it was so torturous to have this thing in me that I couldn't figure out.
I need a miracle.
Maybe God can get your attention now.
I saw him, the Lamb of God.
I related heavily to Simon's story because since I had to basically grow up so young, I was used to handling my problems by myself, used to just not telling anybody, trying to figure it out, just saying, I've got this, and ending up getting way over my head.
Simon, it's him. Put that down for a catch.
Oh, we've been doing this all night. All right.
Head! Come on! Ah! Help us push! Help us push! This way! Pull up! Pull up! Pull up! This way! Simon! I told you! I told you! I told you!
Depart from me. I am a sinful man. You don't know who I am and the things I've done.
Lift up your head, fisherman.
What do you want from me? Anything you ask, I will do.
Follow me. Fish are nothing. You have much bigger things ahead of you, Simon, son of Jonah.
I will make you fishers of
From
men.
now on, I will make you fishers of men. And you are to gather as many as possible, all kinds. I will sort them out later.
It's amazing.
It's impossible.
Are you the one they call John the Baptizer? I have questions for you about miracles.
I loved how at the end Simon was like, bro, I'm tired. I don't want to like hear whatever you have to say. Yes. And I feel like that happens a lot in my life, and I'm sure in y'all's too. Like when you're at your lowest point and you think nothing can get better, sometimes that like you do have a miracle in your own life. That's happened to me like multiple times.
When I was going to my mother's house, she would feed me for a month straight with lies about my father and my stepmother. She would say that they were abusive, they didn't love me, they told her that they didn't love me, that they had their own family and they didn't want me to be a part of it, and I was just a nuisance. So I would go over there and I'd be nervous. And when I was 12, my mother sat me down on her bed and had me call my father and tell him, I'm not coming back.
I liked this episode in particular because you don't know what lies ahead. You don't know what path you're on. I'm a very what will be kind of person.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That's what they say anyway.
Simon really is like really all of us and shows how small-brained we are. Like when Andrew had a lot of faith and Simon was like, no, there's no way. I'm busy. And that was so relatable.
And he'd even say,
I'm always like, I'm busy.
Where you're at that point where you want to give up.
Like, I've heard everything.
Yeah.
That scene where he was on the boat and he was like yelling at God.
Yeah.
Like I've had moments like that.
Yeah.
At that moment when he surrendered, really is what it was. When he surrendered and he was able to be vulnerable and just say, you know what, I've had it, that's when people really hear you.
It is funny though how it still took Jesus like speaking his language, like giving him fish, which was nothing compared to everything Jesus could do. But that was what finally turned Simon, you know, like him succeeding in some small thing.
And it's, because it moves on to the bigger picture of he's gonna be a fisherman for men. I'm in. I'm in this show, y'all. Like this is not what I thought it was gonna be, but it brings you in. It really does.
Yeah.
When I told my mom, I didn't even say I'm gay. I said, like, I know I don't want to date men. Oh, yeah, I forget how awful it was. She told me it was, like, the worst thing to happen to her, and that she didn't know what I wanted her to do with me. I received a lot of texts from both my mom and dad about how I had destroyed the family and I had ruined my mom's life. My mom would pray at night that she would rather God take her life than have me be gay. It felt like I was the only one that was so rejected, and it brought back a lot of early rejection that I felt from my mom when I was young. And really like nailed it in the coffin for me that I would never be what she wanted me to be. Jesus!
He was teaching when I found him.
It's too early for all this.
If not now, when?
We need to talk.
So I hear.
What have you heard?
Nothing that makes sense.
He's the Messiah. I know it sounds impossible, but I saw it with my own eyes. He made boatfuls of fish appear out of nowhere. And the words he spoke, the one John told Andrew was the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, it was him.
Perfect day for a wedding, huh?
If he's healing in secret now, the public signs cannot be far off.
Public signs? What?
They've run out of wine.
My time has not yet come.
If not now, when?
I'm ready, Father.
That scene right there gave me chills down my spine. Just
how so?
Just viewing him, and then, you know, he's staring at this jug, and he's ready to become who he's becoming, you know, and he's surrendering and really embracing the power. You know, when it came down to it, I called my mom, I tried to get the bail money. She told me no. I sat there and I wrote a letter, and I really poured my heart out to my mom and to, you know, really explain like this was just a mistake and I'm trying to, you know, make up for it. And, you know, if you just give me the opportunity, come bail me out so I can walk with my class. You know, she decided to really do some tough loving, and she never even replied. She never sent a letter back. I sent her 2 letters. She never sent a letter back. So I felt neglected, and I felt disowned.
There's a group of youngins that are here to take a tour of the Goshen set in Utah. What they don't know is I'm going to turn up.
Let's go!
Amani and Josephine from BBC as we walk into Jerusalem.
We got this set going. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We are at the
Wow. So unlike a normal set that they'll put up for the shoot and they'll take down, this set was built in such a way that it could withstand the elements.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Mind blown. Over here, this is where we have the parties. You know what's going on. We have parties down here.
How much did this crib cost?
Oh my gosh, you don't even want to know. It cost an arm and a leg.
There's storage all through this wall here. There's a pottery closet, a rope closet, you know, a closet for almost everything that we need here on the set.
Wow.
This set will be used whenever we're shooting kind of the Jerusalem part of the story. And then in Texas, we've got the villages and the campsites. So this would be our version of the Pool of Bethesda. So this fills with water. We can also put a platform over the top of it.
Brilliant.
And turn this into a courtyard.
Scared me. I'm like, why is that man holding me? Oh my God, hello.
And I was like, oh.
Oh, we're so excited to meet you.
Awesome. How's it going?
Good. How you doing? Can we get a picture?
This is like your
Yes.
this is like your second home, right? How's it going, Chris?
Jonathan.
Nice to meet you, Jonathan.
Nice to
And
meet
on the
you.
hugger side.
Stevie.
Passing a chance to hug Jesus. Wow.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you. I'm a hugger too.
Damn, now I feel like I should have hugged you.
That's what I'm saying. We missed out on the hug.
You want a hug?
Yes. Bring it in, man. Bring it in. Bring it in, Jesus.
So we just thought it'd be fun to maybe have a conversation, me and all of you back in Provo, and talk about your thoughts and experiences and how you feel. If you guys be up for that?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, yeah, I want to go home.
I don't know.
I'm
I
outta
think
here.
my flight's gonna be. All right, well. All right, cool. Thanks for coming.
I recorded everything I witnessed, however impossible it seemed.
You did well. I also love the growth of Matthew throughout the whole episode.
I love Matthew so much.
Questioning himself and questioning his beliefs too, you know?
I was in high school when I started realizing what was happening around me and that I wasn't okay with it. And I started going over to my dad's on the weekends and seeing his family. And as I started to mature and age, I was realizing that the truth that I had been living by might not necessarily be the truth. Maybe he wasn't abusive. Maybe he didn't hate me.
You can make me clean.
Be cleansed.
I love the miracles so much. I think not only are they just beautiful to watch, but
I think they're so metaphoric. Jesus doesn't leave anybody behind. So even when you're in your darkest moment, you can be like, I'm not left behind. I love it.
It wasn't jail that really changed my life. It was knowing I had a daughter on the way.
So you would place limits on the Almighty?
None that are not written in law.
And if God did something that you felt contradicted the Torah, would you question your interpretation?
I love the conversation about
Yes.
you have all these set ways of looking at things, and have you ever questioned that your interpretation of them is just incorrect?
I don't want to live in some bleak past where God cannot do anything new.
God gave us his law. We must uphold it.
We can do both.
When he said like to follow the path, but be open to like the wonder and the mystery and the new things happening.
Let's look to the ancient roads where the good way is and walk in it, as Jeremiah said, and still keep our eyes open to the startling and the unexpected.
Jesus of Nazareth, I saw what you did to the leper on the road this morning.
I have to shout out my girl who like brought her friend. I literally was like losing my mind because I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to see someone who looks like me in something as powerful as this. Just makes my heart so happy that like people of color can see themselves like this and think to themselves like, oh, maybe I can be like Jesus, maybe I can be impactful, you know what I mean? Because we do not get that at all.
My friend has been paralyzed since childhood.
Make him better! Make him hold! Legs! Get his legs!
Pick up your bed and go home.
Very stressful on how much Jesus is getting attention.
Because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, like
it breaks my heart because he's like such a kind man, and everything he's saying is trying to help people.
Another one
That
down.
was my favorite episode yet.
Come to your senses.
I have never been closer to my senses.
I definitely am a Matthew. First of all, when he walked out, he was a hypochondriac, covering his nose, changing his sandals because he stepped in some poop. I was like, that's me.
Matthew.
But also, I think the scene with his mother really hit home. I think growing up, I knew I was intelligent and talented.
I know you are ashamed of me, but your decision is irrational. Rome will continue to collect taxes no matter what. I'm skilled with numbers.
Did you come here to justify yourself?
No!
But classic, Asian kid, felt like it wasn't seen by my parents or my mom the way I wanted to, and it was something that I tried for many years.
They thought you would be someone great.
Great at what?
And then realizing I was queer and then coming into that was like another extremely deep level of rejection.
Are you in trouble?
Do you think that impossible things can happen?
But in some way, that's really liberating. Like, when you grow up your whole life trying to be what someone else wants you to be and continually fall short and continually hear what a disappointment you are. At some point, it feels great to like throw in the towel.
Goodbye, Ima.
And be like, this is just never gonna happen. And I'm just never, ever, no matter how hard I try, going to be what you want. It's like, okay, then I can stop trying.
The human eye is drawn to light. We can't help it. It just happens.
There are many things we are drawn to without our thinking or our ability to explain why. Thank you for agreeing to meet.
Thank you for trying to help Mary when you did.
It was no help.
You were meant to be there.
Me? No one can do these signs you do without having God in him.
Follow me, and you'll see more.
Follow you?
I was realizing maybe the real problem was my mother.
I went to see my mother.
That would put me out, too.
So I started paying attention to that. And a couple bad weeks in a row led me, and a bad Christmas Eve led me to contact my dad and say, I can't do this anymore. I need out.
The mother of a son with talent like yours should be proud.
She's ashamed that I could use the talent that God gave me against God.
So we sat down and hatched a plan for me to move out and move back in with him. And I changed schools, I changed my phone number, but what was most important to my dad at that time was that I was the one to tell my mom I was no longer gonna be there. And I really resented him for that. I was like, how could he make me do this? I don't want to face this woman. And I faced her. I was strong. It was one of the worst nights of my life. And I had to face her a couple times after that, and I held my ground. And there were times she thought my dad was coaching me, and he wasn't. It was me being strong, but she couldn't believe I was that strong. And I'd grown up, and I realized why my dad had me stand up to her on my own. He wanted me to know I could do it on my own.
Must be nice to live in a world so simply ordered.
We live in the same world, Matthew.
Next.
Besides, what else are you gonna do with a mind like yours?
Matthew! Matthew, son of Alphaeus!
Yes?
Follow me.
Eh? Do you have any idea what this guy's done?
Listen! I said to... What are you doing? Have you lost your mind?
Yes.
Hey, Matthew.
That shows you that money. Let's go.
I like bawl my eyes out. I feel like we've alluded to this a lot, and I know the cameras are here, but I would love if maybe some of you could share like how you guys like stepped out on faith, because I think your stories are like amazing.
The scene with Matthew and his mother was like, it spoke to me a lot. I've struggled with my mental health my entire life, as long as I can remember, and often felt like left out and ostracized, and like I did have to change and be different, and that I was only appreciated for the things that I did and not who I was. Being able to, I think that's when my faith came in, is when I was so sick and tired of trying to be what others expected me to be, and that the only thing holding me back was myself. A lot of my resentment that I felt was directed towards other people was really on myself. And so all this time that I had spent thinking I just could never forgive people for what they had done to me, the most powerful thing I did was forgive myself.
I would have similar situations where it's like, after all I've done to other people, I would hate myself for that. But I think to myself, if Jesus can love me, then I should be able to love me. Like, if he can forgive me, why can't I forgive me?
When I decided that like I had enough of like people pleasing and like doing stuff only for other people that like pushed me to the brink, and realizing that I needed help, you know, just like accepting help by itself, like therapy or like mental health help, that was like the moment, like I felt that moment.
It sounds like a crazy decision, like, oh yeah, let me not be bitter, but like, let me like just try to take life and be grateful and be happy. I feel like was one of my greatest decisions that I consciously made. You don't have to go along, I guess, with what society thinks you should be. You can be completely different and actually like be a light in the world, do you know?
Given my, you know, cult background and everything, I feel like the biggest, like, I guess, like, step of faith or whatever was ironically, like, leaving the church that I grew up in.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, hey, maybe, you know, maybe I'll die and go to hell, maybe they're right, you know? But, like, at the end of the day, I wasn't, I don't know, it, like, wasn't, I couldn't do it anymore. I either would have just, like, been even more, like, been even lower and, like, more broken or whatever, or I just had to leave. We had this meeting, literally just money pressuring all the guys. Like, we weren't making enough money, and like, it was constantly a thing every week. Like, as soon as I got to the point where I was like considered old enough to like be a man or whatever, So we were having this meeting, and it's like the senior, you know, the pastor who like founded the church and everything, and he's like, look, you guys said that we would move here, and like you would take care of me, and you would make sure me and my wife were, you know, protected, and basically like putting his financial problems on us. And I'm like sitting here like torn, because like at the same time I'm like, maybe like I'm not sure entirely if I know God, maybe. And then I'm also like processing this like guilt from like not making enough money for the pastor of the church. I feel like that night I could never go like rejoin the things of the church, at least not that church. I don't know, I knew it then. So then a couple days later, my dad is like, based on your decision, you've decided to leave, so you have 2 weeks to be out. And like, I was in an awful like life situation, but I just, you know, somehow made it through, and you know, I'm here today on this like couch, like, how weird is that?
It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick.
I love our life.
As do I.
Matthew left. To do what? To follow a holy man from the Eastern Ghetto.
Gold. A friend of mine left that for us. You came so close.
We need to adjust our course 30 degrees.
We're not going to the Jordan. We're going through Samaria.
I am rejected by others.
I know. But not by the Messiah.
I'm going to tell everyone. Oh, he must be the Christ!
You told her? And she can tell others?
What food?
My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to accomplish his work.
You told her who you are? So does that mean?
It means we're going to stay here a couple of days. It's been a long time of sowing, but the fields are ripe for harvest.
And so it's time.
Let's go.
Yes!
Trouble.
That was really good.
And what a way to end it with him approaching that woman.
Yeah.
Who's been rejected by everyone, and that's exactly who he is seeking out.
The fact that like Jesus is in here and he's saying, well, I came here for you. I felt as an audience member like she is a representation of everybody that's sitting out there. Like he is showing up for you. And I don't know, sorry, it makes me, it was big. I really liked that.
I feel like the message it gives out is like, you don't have to like look or be or do, you know, certain things in order to be like valuable.
Yeah.
And just like have worth as a person. Like,
yeah, I love
Jesus
like
is that
the
dude,
end.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm serious. I want to be his friend. Like he's my homie. Like,
So I've been hearing about the series from almost all my friends, right? I see their Instagram stories, I see whatever they post, and they're always like, the chosen, the chosen, the chosen. And I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be another cheesy Christian series, okay? So don't try to push it on me, because I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, I'm here for that.
Can we get a little hug out?
God bless.
Yes.
God bless. God bless.
You guys, wow.
I love you guys.
I love you
already.
I think I've always had a good view of Jesus. I always thought he was the man. I love that he came down to earth and was one of us. But with my own experience with Christianity, having to wrestle a lot with it, I think I have a lot of figuring out to do.
I feel like all this conversation is making me feel like I've known you guys for a long time.
I know.
You know?
Gen Z group talk scene, take one, Mark.
So we just talk? Yeah, I figured I'd just tell you a little bit about me and my journey and how I got here. When I moved out to Los Angeles, It was essentially to take acting full-time. And so I now no longer had a support system for my income. The bills kept coming, and the breaks didn't. My checking account was overdraft like $100, and I had $20 in my pocket. The only thing I could think to do in that moment was to get on my knees and pray. And it was silence. There was nothing. So, you know what? I'm going to use your words from the Bible, the words that you said. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, burdened, and I shall give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So you know what, Jesus? Take some of mine. I'm out, man. I surrender. And I opened my mailbox, and in the mailbox were 4 checks that covered all my bills that were coming due. At that point, I realized that the moment I surrendered and let go of what I thought my life and my career should look like and give it to God, he's like, now you're ready for me to do what I'm going to do with you. 3 months later, Dallas Jenkins called me and said, you want to do this series? I said, I think so. For me, seeing people profoundly and deeply impacted and in many ways healed, to me, it's like, okay, man, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm supposed to do. So that's a little bit about me. I imagine you guys must have some questions.
For such a long time, like, religion and Jesus was something that was used to, like, make me hate myself or, like, to harm me. So I really appreciated how, like, kind you portrayed Jesus.
It's gotten me to seek Christ at an even deeper level.
Being able to accept people at their lowest and when they've done things that seem unforgivable, like, those are the things that I think, regardless of your faith, can really help people.
I thought it was like a well-made show. You did good. I liked it.
I really feel like it restored my belief that God is good.
I found a deep relationship,
It's okay.
with the Lord I never had before. And I think it's silly because it's like, oh, a TV show did that, right? But it gave me the nudge.
Growing up, I didn't really have much faith. I did a lot of research on Buddhism, Egyptian culture. So I ended up choosing to believe in many gods. I refuse to believe that there's just one higher power out there. I like to believe that everybody deserves a chance to believe in anything that they want to. That being said, you know, it took a while, and I'm constantly saying, you know, God is good. You know, God bless, blessings.
Then why don't you, can I ask you a question? Why don't you say the gods are good?
I'm back and forth with it.
Back and forth meaning the phrase or the idea of one versus many?
I would say back and forth with one versus many, if I am to be honest. And, you know, watching The Chosen helped me, you know, open up a little bit more and get a better understanding of who Jesus was.
God is calling you. Yeah. He wants to know you on a deeper level. And so that tug that you're feeling, that's Christ trying to get to know you. That's what that is. So you've got nothing to lose to explore. And as you get closer and closer, you'll know what's true. But I think he's calling you. And I just felt I should share that with you.
Thank you.
I'll pray for you. You guys have been so awesome. so open and vulnerable, and so. The interaction between me and Jonathan definitely felt like Jesus or God or gods was speaking to me through him.
Come here, brother.
Yes, he plays a character, but he does it in a sense where you can tell that that character is part of him. And so to have him acknowledge me for, you know, my efforts, and he doesn't even know me like that, that was a surreal moment. And that's why, you know, I couldn't hold back the tears. I couldn't, I let them flow. And it was one of those moments that I will truthfully cherish for the rest of my life.
I would say my opinion of Jesus has definitely swayed to the positive side.
Truthfully, I want to say it's changed my perspective on the whole situation with Christianity.
This experience was what I needed right now.
This show really hit me at home.
It was a good show. Like, I enjoyed watching it.
A lot of people, when I went back home and told them, oh yeah, I'm watching the show about Jesus, they were like, Amani, like, are you okay knowing about my background? But I really try to put them onto the show and taking things that Jesus would say from The Chosen and kind of applying that to my own life. So I'll be in traffic and I'll want to honk at someone, but I'm like, oh, what would Jesus do?
I think The Chosen is really created for everyone in mind.
Where, you know, I'm young and I relate to it and I'm connecting to it so intensely. And I think it opens up a door.
I still think Christian content is, for the most part, like, usually cheesy crap or like trying to force a message. So while I do not think that this was that, I still maintain that overarching belief.
I'm so sorry for all my friends who's watching. I didn't want to do this. I mean, I didn't mean to do this, I promise. But it's just like, because they've been hyping it up so much.
Yeah, I said before that I wouldn't be interested in shows like this just because I feel like they would be so slow and really not hit at home. But this show really hit me at home, and there was a lot of moments where I could really relate to with a bunch of the characters, and just shot me back in time 10, 15 years, with my brothers and sisters, and just really enjoying life, So I'm out here enjoying life. I'm so happy about it.
It's so interesting to think about if Christianity added to the pressure of perfection that my mom put on me, because so many expectations, so many more rules about how to live correctly. But honestly, when I think back to when I was a kid, I don't think that is what I was really concerned about. If anything, I think the reason I'm so sure that I want to believe in this God is because I think it's what got me through a lot of that. I have to do so much of the homework about maybe apologetics or reading more into scripture or whatever it is intellectually I need to do to make sure that this is the truth. But at the same time, so much of believing in God is faith. And I feel okay right now sitting here and being like, I have faith that maybe I can't connect all the dots and I can't, draw A to B to C in the Bible. But I have faith that God is watching out for me.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello, thank you. Good morning, I'm good. How are you? Good morning. Enjoy yourself. Thank you. they had, people go up and they said, if you need prayer right now, go up and we'll pray with you. And I saw this woman go up and she was crying, and I don't know what she was going through, but it made me emotional, because I'm in a really good place now with my life, and to see someone that's going through so much struggle and really needing that prayer, it just got me. It's just that, like, I've been there, I get that.
It's going to be the big reveal of my involvement with this series, and I am like beyond excited to see their faces.
This is my apartment right here. You guys can come right in. I got a couch in the kitchen. Who got a couch in their kitchen?
She's popping popcorn. She's a special way of doing it. She just gets the corn kernels and puts them in a brown paper bag and microwaves it, and it's actually amazing.
Hi, everybody. Okay.
I own literally everything in this room. I've worked really, like, all the spices. I got all those spices. I bought all these pans. I feel like an adult or something.
So I think most of you know, either from my stories or from what I've told you, is that I've been going to Utah for this documentary.
We brought together 9 Gen Z strangers from around the country. We said, please come binge our multi-season show.
Okay, it was a show about Jesus' life.
Okay, I'm actually like nervous then, but really excited right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let me tell you a story.
Oh my God.
Shut up! Shut up!
I love The Chosen.
What would you guys think about if we watched the first episode of The Chosen tonight?
I would love it.
Love it.
I'm on board.
I've been wanting to watch it, so.
I think what was really interesting is it really centered around his disciples. You know who they are? Okay. Name a disciple.
Peter. John.
Adam. That's pretty good.
So, am I worried that my daughter thinks I'm a bad person? I don't think so. I just want her to take something good from it. Because of what I'm doing right now, the legacy that I'm building right now.
So this individual, we could not keep away. They moved heaven and earth to be here, but we get them for like 10 minutes.
Oh, Dallas.
Wow.
Sounds like they've been trying to get you to watch the show, and it required us to fly you out to Utah to watch this show. So
I'm crying. I'm actually crying.
I hope you've given like a really big, I told you so, Audrey. Watching your response to the show has been one of the most moving things in my whole experience with The Chosen.
I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to be my father that's non-existent. I want to be the father, the #1 father in my daughter's life. Back when I was this legitimate monster, I didn't think that I had the chance to be forgiven. Once I forgave myself for my past mistakes, slowly but surely, other people are forgiving me as well.
Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine.
I just love it. I just love it so much. And again, I want to invite you to be not only gracious and grateful for their vulnerability, for their willingness to be raw and authentic in an arena and in an ecosystem and in a family that they aren't used to and didn't know all of what they were getting into when they got into this. But you're not only going to be